All right, are you sitting up so you don't look fat? Is that what you're saying?
I'm working on my posture, making sure I'm going to start wearing Skims on this podcast.
That'd be an awesome endorsement, by the way.
Do they make Skims for men?
Yeah, well, I think aren't they like technically almost unisex, the Skims?
I don't know.
Actually, I think she does have a men's line of Skims. Yeah.
Maybe I'll invest in them.
Oh my God. You are not.
Sausage casing here.
You're perfect. You are not. Are you self-conscious now about this? Don't be. I think you are a little.
No, I'm not self-conscious of that. I have a little bit of. I've got some handles on around the old waist I'm working on. I went for a run today. What I'm most maybe subconscious of is that as I was trimming my beard today, I noticed a significant patch of white whiskers around my chin.
I know. I see them underneath.
It was like jaw dropping. Like, whoa, where did these all come from?
I love you. I love you. I do. I think you're so handsome aging.
Thanks.
Men, like they can age so gracefully. You're like a fine wine. You get cuter and cuter. And, you know, you're sitting up straight. You look skinnier. You're working out again.
Yeah, I'm trying to be healthy for my family.
It's just that pub mix. You love a little pub mix.
Shout out Utz Pub Mix. If anyone from Utz listening, if you need a brand endorsement, I can do it for you.
Oh God, you love that. Well, look, we have a lot to get to. There has been so much that has happened in the past
busy weekend for the internet.
We got to talk the Diddy video. I want to know from a male's perspective, because I've heard how many women are outraged, of course, by it. But the Diddy video of him abusing Cassie is out. Also, Gloria Allred, the famous civil right, and it's not really civil right,
women's rights, civil
rights attorney, has spoken out against him. Of course,
what a brave take for her to speak up against Diddy.
She's representing clients getting ready to sue him. We have to talk that. Also, we watched the Ashley Madison documentary on Netflix. 5 stars. Chef's kiss.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. What documentary was better?
Well, are you just in general or anything about Ashley Madison? I thought it was good, but we can talk more about where I thought I was curious to hear more about.
Oh, the ending did get a little weak. I have to give my review of the Justin Timberlake concert. People want to hear that.
I do too.
And then which friend do you support in a divorce? We do have another question. You know, we have these sort of relationship family questions now that we are a official family with a son. And so this one is circulating on the internet about a guy supporting his guy friend going through a divorce and the wife ain't happy. So it is like, who do you support when it's a friendship?
Wow. I can't wait to hear this story.
All right. So let's start with my weekend, which was at Justin Timberlake. I'm going to get right to it here. This was a 3 out of 5 concert for me. It did not wow me. And people are not thrilled to hear this because I teased this over the weekend. And I was like, I got a lot of thoughts on this show and I'll say them on Tuesday. And then people slid in my DMs and they were saying to me, well, you liked it, right? Because I have tickets for this show in the fall and I'm going to see him here. Like, you liked it, right? I didn't love it.
What did you, let's start with positives. And besides the SoFi Stadium popcorn, which you housed down.
Yeah, the Kia Forum.
First
of all, he was at the Kia Forum. I believe he played 2 nights here in Los Angeles.
I thought it was at SoFi.
No, dog. Because I don't think he sold out to the last minute.
That tells you more about where his concert is. All right. So besides the Kia Forum popcorn, which you give 5 stars, what else stood out? What was positive?
First of all, let me talk about you're right. Here are the positives. He has an amazing voice. His voice live was unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. An incredible dancer. And then he had this awesome backup singing group and dancers, which, by the way, the band that he has, I think they did the Tiny Desk performance with him on NPR. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Their voices, their musical instruments that they could play. I mean, in the top 10% of probably all musicians out there.
Okay.
100%.
What did we not like? Where is there room for improvement?
Well, people are going to hate me for this. I didn't think it was a particularly good show. I'm going to be honest. I have a good read of energy on people. I didn't think he really wanted to be there. I'm sorry. He did not seem that into the crowd. The show is not it ain't on your feet like performance show. It's more of we're at a high-end cocktail lounge in Vegas type show.
Mm.
Lot of slow songs. He played a lot from his new album, and let's just say, it was a lot new to a lot of us. I
Yeah,
mean, it was really
play the
like,
hits.
like the hits. I mean, he did 3 slow songs in a row. And the third one, he goes, "This is for all my couples out there tonight." And he played it, and then he went into, I don't know, maybe like suit and tie or something. He's like, "Yeah, now y'all can get your asses out of the seats." And it's like, it ain't us, dude. We're ready to party. It's you with it.
Serve us up something a little faster, and you'll see my ass out of the seat.
The DJ. And first of all, I always think this is a bad sign too. He has no show opener.
Hmm.
What? Like, do you go to okay, no show opener. So he had a DJ who played, doors open at 8. He went on at like 9. DJ played for an hour, and that was when people were the most animated.
Okay.
That ain't a good sign.
Justin, if you're listening, let's find a good opening act, and let's find a few of your hits to play.
But I don't think now I just saw on his Instagram, he says that the show has been so successful, he's launching 8 stops, 8 additional stops.
Well, he still is when you think about musicians. I mean, he is not Taylor Swift.
I
Right?
know, and I think that I'm skewed because I've seen Taylor, and that show was so out of body.
Well, and her show, forgive me because I didn't go, but her show was about her 17-year career. So it was nothing but the hits. And he's out slinging albums. He wants people to buy his new album, which good luck because no one buys albums anymore. So he's still one of the, if you were to guess or count, who are the most famous musicians in the world, if you were just to rattle off some names, he still probably has to be top 10, top 20 in the world.
You think?
I think so. I mean, when you think about like who's putting butts in the seats on a regular basis. I mean, when you start thinking about legacy bands like Rolling Stones, Eagles,
God, they were so good. The Eagles
right?
were so good.
But even a band like Foo Fighters, they're playing this summer, and they're playing over at Bank of Montreal Stadium, which is like a 23,000 seat.
Where's that?
That's
in California?
In California, in LA. Yeah,
I've never even heard of it.
well, that's where it used to be Bank of California Stadium. That's where the LAFC soccer team plays.
He can't even do the Forum?
Well, they're playing an outdoor arena, but they're, that's still a relatively, that's not giant stadium. That's not the Rose Bowl. This is I think touring is becoming a little more difficult, but yeah, I would put him up there. When you think about like who are the mega musicians and bands that are out there, he's still there, but maybe he needs to get a little sharper for my wife, Justin.
He's fantastic, but I guess I just didn't feel any of that. And
well, you are an empath. You have that energy feel. So you didn't feel it.
Well, look, I've only sold out one time the DC Improv that was like 300 people. That is like,
it was closer to 400.
Thank you. Thank you, honey. So I can't sell out the Kia Forum, but I'm just saying there were no surprise guests. We're in Los Angeles. And why this guy now has been famous since he was 16 years old. You got me on a tear now. Okay, hold on. So what this man has been famous for he's 40, right? He was famous when he was like 16 on Disney Club. Okay, for over 2 decades. Why didn't this show should have been half new album, half like all the hits. Like, why didn't he do an In Sync song, even if it was with his backup band? Like, all right, you guys all know, my very first hit was Bye 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 back in 1999. And, I mean, even bring out Lance Bass. Would that have been too weird if he had done Bye 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 with just Lance?
Probably be better off just doing it himself.
But where was Andy Samberg and Dick in a Box? Because Justin Timberlake could have been a stand-up comic. So where was like, do y'all remember my SNL? One of the greatest SNL
he is, whatever his theme is for this new album, that's the theme of the tour. And he's also probably an egomaniac that doesn't want to acknowledge other people or share the spotlight.
I don't know. I mean,
that's me psychoanalyzing Justin there.
It was not really it for me. I was just like, I wish I'd gone to Nicki Minaj. I wish I'd gotten the Gag City However, I will say, I mean, again, I only like Nicki's like pop songs. So
Sure.
I think once she got really into the hardcore, I would have been like, oh, I hate this
You would
too.
have been sitting eating popcorn and people watching. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you didn't have a great show experience. But
Well, the Frasiacs already have their tickets to
Mhm.
JT. So go and see it. Maybe I'm on an island. I often am on my thoughts and opinions. So maybe people seemed like they loved it.
That's an understated statement, but
He he's added more shows, so obviously it's selling. You're not adding more
Mhm.
shows if
Yeah,
it's not
I
selling.
don't think this is going to hurt his bottom line.
But I liked him. I like him. I like him so much. He's so comedic. I wanted to love it, and I was just like, y'all.
Y'all. All right.
I was sitting like when you're sitting at a concert stuffing your face with popcorn, that's not a good sign. Like Taylor Swift, I didn't even have time to drink my margarita. I was like crying and smiling, and she was so magical. You're
Mhm.
just like, oh my God. Trading bracelets. I didn't have time to eat. This time I could have had a whole dinner.
Look at that whole rotisserie chicken. Okay.
All right, let's move on. What did you make of? Did you actually watch the video over here in Century City, Los Angeles, California? We know where Century City is.
Mhm.
Fabulous mall there at this Intercontinental Hotel that's nearby the famous Century City Mall. In 2016, did you see the full video?
I did see the full video.
What I mean,
It's horrendous.
what did you watch his apology video?
I did not watch his apology video because
Why
why?
not? You're
Why? No,
you're
I
supposed
like
to
I.
prep for this podcast.
Oh, sorry. Well, can I explain why I didn't watch it? Because he doesn't mean it. He doesn't, and here's why. And so he he can only say so much at this point because of all the um, accusations and court cases he's in. He can only say so much, and we have this is a tale as old as time when there is a PR crisis, right? Which is you either deny, right? No, that wasn't me. That you can't deny it because it was clearly him. You either deny or you acknowledge it and then you apologize and confess to whatever say I'm going to seek treatment or I'm in therapy now or I'm going to rehab to address it, right? So let's assume for the sake of argument he really is sorry for his actions, right? And that's one moment, and everyone's capable of a one bad moment, but that's one bad moment of many bad moments for him.
I mean,
So this
that's
is who
not
he
a
is. This is who he is. So if he really, really is apologetic and wants to make amends, he should be donating his millions of dollars to women's advocacy groups and shelters and dedicating his life to making sure this doesn't happen to other people. He has a platform, he has money, and if he truly is sorry, then he should show it with his actions. But a half-assed apology video within the first 24 hours of that coming out, that doesn't. I don't buy it. Show it with your actions.
well, he's full of shit anyway because he settled a couple months ago a lawsuit with Cassie within 24 hours. Then, probably a couple weeks after that, on his Instagram, he put up an Instagram thing that said, I'm officially fighting back from all the lies and the bullshit being told about me. And enough's enough trying to come after my character.
See, that
And
is
then
PR 101.
that came
You
out.
either fight it and you go ahead and say um that you deny, you dig in, and politicians do this all the time. Or you do the old I'm sorry, I'm going to work on myself, I'm going to rehab, I'm seeking treatment, I'm seeing a therapist. You know what? Sure, but that helps solve that problem for you, but you still have I'm sure yeah, it goes back. I look at it this way.
Keep
I
going.
forget the example or the story about this, but if it's kind of like this, if you have an employee who you catch stealing, right?
Yeah.
Um, do you fire them or do you give them
Yes.
another chance?
Yes. 100. Hold on one
Okay.
second. Hello? Yes, here, I'm gonna buzz you in right now. The door should work. Hold on.
Real life, working from home.
Okay, let's see if he got in.
I think he got in. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes, you
I
fire
fire
them.
them too, because that is that might be the first time you caught them,
But it's not the first
but it's
time
not
they've
the
done
first time
it.
they've
Yeah,
done it.
exactly.
Same thing with this. This show. I mean, the fact that like he just chased her down the hallway. I mean, it was so just horrific to watch. So no, I don't. This guy doesn't deserve a second chance. We've all now witnessed who he is, and if he wants to try to make amends, he needs to do it with his actions.
LeBron James unfollowed him on
Ooh.
Instagram.
No, it's really happening.
Well, he and LeBron were fairly close,
Mhm.
apparently. You think I don't know. Do you think you're friends with somebody like that and you don't know what they're like?
I I'm sure there are, there are, everyone has a demon or some sort of negative aspect to them. But, I would be, if I'm Diddy's friend, I think I have a hard time standing in his corner at this point.
I don't know who would. I don't even know if you come back for that from
Robert
that.
Blake, maybe.
Well, I was thinking Ray Rice. What happened to Ray Rice? Remember Ray
Yeah,
Rice?
he had that. I mean, I think he's retired from the league at this point, but he had it was like, I think he was suspended for like 2 games.
Okay, but that was a tipping point, right? Because didn't the NFL change their domestic violence incident after that? And for people who don't recall, Ray Rice was a player on the Ravens, right?
More Ravens, yep.
And he cold clocked his wife in an elevator. Didn't she like pass out?
Yeah, it was bad.
It was really bad. And and then he dragged her like out of the elevator. So, I mean, he really never has recovered from that, right? Or did he go on to play in the
No, I think
NFL?
he came back.
Oh, he did.
Now,
They're
now
still married, by the way.
yikes.
I don't know how I mean, I do know, I mean, my parents hung out with a couple that were older than them. And he like was so abusive to her when they were younger, before my parents knew them. And she stayed with him because she told my mom, I think like towards the end of her life, she said that basically she knew like he would kill her. If she ever left, he would, he got sober. He was an alcoholic. And they were probably 20 years older than my parents, 15 years older than my parents when my parents knew them. And my
Well,
parents never knew him to drink.
well,
But anyway, she was
so
terrified of him.
here's Ray Rice, right? This is from sportingnews.com. He was suspended indefinitely. He sued the league, saying that player cannot be suspended twice for the same issue. He was reinstated by the league after his appeal was successful, though he did not wind up signing a deal with the team again. Then filed a lawsuit against the Ravens for the amount that he would have been made had he only been served a 2-game suspension. They reached a settlement. He Attempting to make a comeback, Rice publicly committed to giving all of his 2016 NFL salary to domestic violence charities if he was signed, but no team offered him a deal. By 2018, his career came to an end. What's he doing now? He's worked to improve his public image as a motivational speaker to college and pro teams about that incident. He's created a nonprofit called Pipeline to Prosperity for underprivileged kids in Baltimore and New Rochelle, New York, his own hometown. And then he's also spent time talking with mental health professionals, listening to domestic violence survivors and domestic violence experts. He has worked with the Childhood Domestic Violence Association and A Call to Men. And he's still married to Janae. I knew
Yeah.
it would be hard to forgive me, but the one thing I've been consistent with was that I was going to be better. I'm not going to be a victim of my past, Rice said, per the team. My legacy won't be domestic violence. My legacy will be what I become afterward.
Well, it's pretty hard to escape
I
that,
agree.
don't you
It
think?
is. But you know what? This is where your actions speak. And not just, you can't necessarily, you can't, it's, he didn't hit me, he didn't hit you. So it's not up to us for forgiveness. But to his credit, at least he's making efforts to make amends.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. That video was so shocking to watch. I never grew up around people that did that. I never saw that in my own house. So I can't even I just can't even fathom if you ever tried to hit me. I'd be like, I could never come
No,
back from it. And obviously Kathy, I mean, she ended up somehow getting away from him. I mean, he looks like he's such a devil. I don't
well,
even
she
know.
did. And then if I'm not mistaken, after she did get away, she ended up going back because she was afraid of what he would do next. It's just, you get in this really negative spiral. And she's out now, so
Look,
hopefully she's fine now.
I have girlfriends that have been with guys that have hit them and they're still with them.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just don't know how you do it. But some of them grew up seeing occasionally their parent, their mother
Yeah.
get hit. And then I think you think it's like,
You think
okay.
it's okay, and it is, you model and repeat the behaviors that you're familiar with.
Anyway, I'm so done with him. I think he's the most horrific person.
You know what?
Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein.
Can I go on a limb here and say the three people you just named, Jeffrey Epstein,
Yeah.
I mean, he's dead, but Harvey Weinstein,
Yeah.
Diddy, you're not welcome on this podcast.
Yeah. Well, clearly.
Okay. Thanks for taking a stand.
There you go. I'm happy to do it.
Mhm.
All right. We watched the Ashley Madison documentary. Oh, well, I did want to end with this because Gloria Allred did come out and say that a lot more things are going to come out about him, the
Mm.
lawyer. She's representing clients that have other things to say about Diddy. And then she also says Homeland Security are the ones that raided his house over here in the Homely Hills. And that they're looking at RICO charges, a lot of things that R. Kelly was busted for.
Oh boy.
And sex trafficking across state lines, promising men, I guess, in other states that they would have sex with women he was associated with. So,
Yikes. All
good.
right.
Well, I think people want to see him in jail.
Yeah.
That was my point of bringing that up. Is people are like, when is he going to be in jail? Of course, the LAPD said, look, we can't arrest him for that.
Mhm.
And fuck that security guard over there that accepted $50,000. Karma is so. I've seen karma work. Oh,
Mhm.
it's so nasty.
It is. Okay.
All right, moving on to Ashley Madison. Now, I searched, by the way, after we watched Ashley Madison to see if you were a part of the league. Your
Mhm.
name didn't show up.
Nope, I was not. I was smart enough not to put my name or email in.
Oh, shoot. You are kind of smart like that. So you might still be on it, but you didn't use. Actually, I've got to search your. You have another nickname that you told me about when we first got together.
One of my aliases. I have a few.
I'll go on and search
Mhm.
that one. I thought the Ashley Madison doc was stellar. I learned so much I did not know about that Ashley Madison leak in 2015. It was so good. And then the ending was so rushed and like went off a cliff. But what did you make of it?
I'm gonna compare it to the Patriots documentary that's on Apple.
Oh, well,
the
that one was
Dynasty. Well,
better.
what I mean is this is a global event that took place during our lifetime, a recent global event that took place during our lifetime that we can look back at and recently and be like, wow, all right, yeah, I remember this, or I didn't know that. So it's kind of fun, like the Patriots documentary, to look at it from a different lens. And because when it happened, we were both still in Virginia. We were living in Arlington at the time. It was probably just right after your radio show.
Yeah, like I didn't follow it as closely because at that point, Sarah, Ty, and Mel, the last radio show I was a part of, had just ended. They had flipped formats on the station.
Mhm.
So I was sort of out of it. I wasn't paying attention. Now, if we had been on air, I mean, we would have covered all the time.
And I know someone who was in the data leak.
Hey now.
And
Hey now.
in his defense, he was single, and the Ashley Madison was open to single people meeting single people, but also single people meeting married people. And he's like, I don't care. And there was some joy going through the leak numbers to see, hey, do I know anyone in this? But I would have, they focused predominantly on the people involved with Ashley Madison, the employees, the CEO, the people who were the part of the business. And then they had, I think, two or three narratives about people, clients, customers, and their interaction. I would have liked to have seen or heard more from other people. There was a tragedy, spoiler alert,
Spoiler alert.
of one of the individuals who was affiliated with maybe a Catholic school in New Orleans or a Christian school in New Orleans, who his name was in the leak and he lost his job and took his own life. And then there was another Christian vlogger. He and his wife were involved, and
She stuck with him.
she did stick with him. She forgave him, and
Like a million times. I'm like, girl, first of all, that woman had it all wrong. I told you right now,
Mhm.
women should never it was so good. People need to watch this documentary. I was obsessed.
It's nice. What I appreciate, it's 3 episodes. Each episode's about an hour. You can crank it out real quick.
Sam Rader and his wife are heavily featured. They're YouTube vloggers known for their videos about his family and their Christian values. Now, they show the couple throughout the documentary, and at first they're not together. So you're like, are they together? Are they not? I could tell immediately they were together because she said, you know, I was the most loyal wife. I would iron his shirts and I would have dinner ready for him. That's mistake number one. Now, I always say to women,
He's following Buckner's advice as to the Benedictine column.
Say men love a chase, and you've been chasing me for a decade. Excuse me.
Sorry, go on. I'm sorry to.
And you bring me coffee in bed every morning. The key is always, I'll tell you women, the key is find a man who is crazier about you than you are of him. Now, tables have turned. I'm pretty mad about you now. But at first, for years, I abused, not like
not like Diddy.
Not like a Diddy abuse. But I was like, whatever. But this is the thing. When you cater to a man, he gets bored. You've got to keep him on his toes. And I keep you on your toes every week.
That's don't know. God's honest.
You don't know if you're coming or going in this marriage. You don't know what is up. And you bring me coffee every morning. You open the blinds for me so I can see outside and write in my journal. You take care of our son. You do so much. But, you chase me. And that is what it should be. And see,
So that's the secret.
Yes, she did way too much for him. Way too much
You're
for him.
You're going to end up with a lot of single listeners after this episode if the Frasiaks take this advice.
It's not the old days anymore. Men like a little bit of they want to know that you've got options and you're on your toes. She didn't. She showed all her cards all the time. And he was like looking at everything. He hit on her best friend. She lost her best friend over him. And they stayed together.
Well, maybe he needed to pray on it a little bit longer.
And that's the worst thing, right? If I learned anything about this, because I love our Catholic church that we go to, I love a little spirituality. But the minute you declare, oh, I'm living by the Lord and Lord Jesus, and that's when it all goes to, that's when you're doing meth in the back. They're always acting a fool whenever they come out and say,
meth, slobbing some knobs, whatever you got to do.
Now, look, there's some discussions around this documentary, and I want to ask your opinion. One of which drove me crazy in the documentary. Now, the man that took his own life, his wife, she knew he was cheating for years. She just said she didn't want to know. And then she finally asked herself, am I going to do anything about it? And the answer was no. But women always know. She'd known for a long time he was out and about. Okay. But in this documentary, they say they've never, to this day, there's good mystery, they've never figured out who did the hack. At one point, they thought Noel, who was the CEO, did it as kind of almost this like he was addicted to fame and maybe to get more interest and all this stuff, okay? But then they ruled out Noel. Noel is no longer there. Of course, Noel was cheating on his wife too. But they really they put the blame in this documentary on that hacking group. And they say that day, that hacking group ruined millions of marriages. Because I think how many people were breached in the 15 million?
I think they were at 15 million at their peak.
People committed suicide. They alluded to the fact that one guy was not the only one that took his life. And they really say what those hackers did that day destroyed families. Excuse me, is there any accountability anywhere anymore in life? How about the fuckers that went on there knowing they were married? Like this, may he rest in peace. Obviously, it was too much for the guy that took his life in New Orleans. But your dick had been getting wet in a lot of chicks prior to this. And you don't think that you were going to get caught and pay a price?
Yeah, I don't put the blame on the hackers.
Well, what the fuck? I didn't like that in the documentary. The documentary pissed me off in the end.
If you're going to play with matches, you're going to get burned, right? So this is the individuals who went on it. You're accountable for your own actions, and rather than pursue a relationship outside of your marriage, why don't you talk to your spouse about what you're unhappy about and what you can improve on, or what you can make better in your life so that you're more satisfied? So it would be curious to see if it ever is discovered who
it's so good
who committed the hack. but maybe there was a motivation for someone who was burned by it, if their spouse was on it, or perhaps just someone who wants to watch the world burn, and I'm going to go ahead and hold this company hostage. So
Well, thank God.
the reality is, organizations, I mean, when you look at the Sony hack from a couple, maybe 10 years ago, a lot of these companies, cybersecurity is not at the level it needs to be. So it's almost surprising that more of these hacks don't occur regularly.
Well, I think it's a blessing because one of the people that it outed who turned out to be a complete pervert is Josh Duggar, who was convicted on pornography charges and is in jail.
Duggar, you're not welcome on this podcast either.
Oh God, no, he's such a nut. Ugh. Oh God, he sexually abused his own siblings and then other neighbor. Oh, he's such a creep. Ugh. Never to be rehabilitated either. Ugh. But I think it's a blessing. It outed a lot of weirdos. Don't get me going. I'm getting too hardcore. I'm getting too old school. Anyhow, all right. Lastly, do we have any friends that are getting divorced currently? Do we know any friends?
Not that I'm familiar with. I know one person who's getting divorced, but it's a colleague of mine. We'll talk offline about it.
Oh,
but anyways, go on.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I do. All right. Well, what do you think of this one? Is it okay to support my friend in his divorce with his wife? I am married and I have a friend who, let's just call Mark, who is soon to be unmarried to his wife. The reason why Mark and his wife are divorcing is because, according to Mark, she's let herself go. On top of gaining weight, she started smoking. She cut her hair off.
Sorry.
Would you leave me if I started? I would love to start smoking.
Go on.
Reminds me of my grandparents, and they were good people. She started smoking. She's cut her hair off due to not caring to take care of it anymore. She says she doesn't want to wash it. She doesn't want to dye it. When I told my wife this, she made a face and said, "That's so trashy of him to leave his wife in what may be hard times." I understand, but like my friend said, that he had tried therapy for their marriage and what they'd gone to counseling, and it was revealed that she has been diagnosed with depression, but she really didn't seem to want to help herself. Honestly, I can't. I can get behind understanding why my friend has just had enough of being a husband. He says that he's moody, she's moody, her mood shifts all of the time. But when I talk to my wife about it, she seems to get really upset with the fact that I am supporting him. Been back and forth type thing. And I'm coming to ask people for their advice. Am I wrong to support my friend here through the divorce, even though it seems to be causing a wedge between my wife and me? All right. What do you think?
Well, let's preface all of this with, we don't know the full context of everything, right? So we're just going off what this individual is reporting. Was this a Reddit?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He's being a good friend. You support your friend, right? This is not a decision that's being made willy nilly. This is not like, oh, she's started smoking and I'm packing up. They've probably had multiple issues. They went to counseling. They've made steps to correct it. It has become a toxic situation or an unhealthy situation for him. He can't help her. So assuming he's reached the point where he can no longer help her through this, and the living situation is unhealthy for him, then yeah, move on, divorce her.
No, I think you have to support your friends too. I'm not sure why this guy's wife has such an issue about it.
Because she's a
Well, she has an issue because she sympathizes with this woman, that this woman is down and out on her luck, and the guy is really not giving her enough time to figure it out. I mean, isn't that true though? Like, you would leave me. Like, I mean, because things are good, like we're so stable and our lives are pretty mundane, which I enjoy. And I know you do too, because you're very much a pattern person. And like,
I like stability.
You love stability. You'd eat at the same restaurant like every Friday night. Oh, so boring. Anyhow, thank God for me. But I mean, you would leave me if I did a 180 and I shaved my head off and I really let myself go. You too would have. I don't know that
we'd have an intervention. We'd try to figure out what's going on with your
give me long
crisis of identity, and we'd try to make it work. And then, but if you're sitting there, laying in bed all day, smoking cigarettes, letting yourself go,
yeah, what a day.
and it impact me
Amazing.
or our family, then I would take the appropriate actions. But
Well, open a window. I won't
oh, that's
impact
appreciated.
it
We're
too
not going to get our
much.
security deposit back with you smoking your cigs. Just don't fall asleep with them in your mouth. Uh,
Remember when people, they still do. Remember when
mhm.
people would like their,
Their mattresses would burn to a
I
crisp.
know.
Yeah.
My God, I can't believe that didn't happen to my grandmother because she was still smoked till the day she died, which was
Mhm.
like 86 or 87. And so when people would come in, she would tuck the ashtray under the sofa cushion and it was dark as
There's a guy who lives in one of the buildings around us who every morning when I'm walking KJ to work or walking KJ to school, he's sitting out on the porch, not even a porch, like the stoop. It's not even the stoop. It's like the curb, and he's puffing on a cigarette. He's puffing on a cig. And I'm like, that kind of, I like I like the concept of it, but I don't think that would be,
have to support your friends.
Mm.
And the friend that I have that I'm thinking of that got divorced, I was just team her. Like you just gotta,
As long as, even when,
even
e-
when they're wrong.
even when they're wrong, you still have to be in their corner. And I have some friends who have fallen apart from each other, and puts me in an awkward position, but
Oh,
I still support. I'm not gonna
oh.
out names. Name names. I'm not outing names. But you support them and you help support them. Maybe if they're making a wrong decision, you play devil's advocate with them and you help them weigh different options. But ultimately they have to live their lives, and just like this individual tried to do with his wife going through things,
Yeah.
at some point you no longer support them. And it's like the negative people in your life who you don't want to socialize with. You cut them out of your life. But it becomes obviously a little more complicated when that person is your partner or your living roommate like we are.
Well, we're roommates. Look, I know I can't leave you because I have zero support. You think these listeners would support me? No. You
Nope.
think my own family would support me? No.
I'd start my own
My mom and brother,
podcast.
they
I'd
love
start my
you.
own podcast, Schmanetics, and then I'd steal all your audience.
Have any support, I can't leave you.
Mhm.
Um, okay, well, I like that topic because you gotta support your friends. I'm actually surprised though that the wife to the guy that they're still married, she needs to come around and like
Yeah, get on board.
I know what she means though. You have to have empathy for
Hmm.
people, which I know I sound like through most of these podcasts that I don't, but I really do in real life.
It's just not always on display as often as we need.
Adore people,
Hmm.
but you gotta help yourself.
Hmm.
Then I'll help you. I can't help.
Help me help you.
All right. Schman, I love you. Thank you for being on again. What a great episode.
It's great. And I look forward to returning to the Sarah Fraser Show studios in the near future.
We got to go to a concert together too.
Want to go to Weezer in October?
No, bye.